Now, you'll almost certainly have seen the headlines around car finance compensation this week. We have covered it extensively on this programme. So let's get to the bottom of what exactly has happened in the last few days. So basically, yes, if you used car finance to buy a vehicle anytime in the last 18 years, you could, being the word there, be in line for compensation. But this week's landmark Supreme Court ruling, well, it may have senior finance companies and banking executives breathing a bit of a sigh of relief, as it almost certainly has brought down the potential compensation bill significantly. Well, consumer and motoring disputes expert Scott Dixon has been with us throughout this story and joins us again. Hello, Scott.
Hello, Holly. How are you?
I'm good. I'm hoping you're going to help us out a little bit here, because in some ways it has become almost more complicated. This was an eagerly awaited decision, but basically this all centres around hidden commission. So what's been going on?
So the Supreme Court, they recently overruled two major claims that would have made it nearly all car finance agreements unlawful due to undisclosed commissions. And one case about unfair commission was upheld, where the commission was excessively high, and it was over 55% of the credit cost. And the dealer misled Mr. Johnson about his finance options. And they said at the time his finance agreement would be opened up to a panel of lenders to find the best deal. Yet in reality, First Rand Bank had first dibs. And this unfair commission route is new and complex, and it's likely to be included in the Financial Conduct Authority's consultation, but the details are unclear yet. The judge also referred to Mr. Johnson's lack of sophistication with regards to financial matters, and that he was a young driver. And the problem is most people don't fully understand how finance agreements work, and you've got the hard sell tactics. And the law says the key terms must be clear and prominent, not buried in the small print. Mr. Johnson was faced with reams of contract papers, and he didn't really understand what he was letting himself in for. And that's the case that was upheld by the Supreme Court.
It does feel slightly unfair to describe him as unsophisticated, as the judge did, because I think a lot of us would feel slightly overwhelmed with the amount of paperwork that we're given whenever we're signing finance for a new car. This has sort of been set out as the template then for future cases, but very much open to interpretation. I mean, talking about here the 55%, that's not an exact figure by any means. I mean, moving forward, how much is too much?
That's the big question, and nobody really knows. And the lack of sophistication, this opens up a different conversation on vulnerability. So, you've got different age demographics, and well, who is financially savvy and who's not? It's a really hard one to call.
Yeah, and ultimately, when people listening to this who've been waiting for a result and trying to work out whether or not they're entitled to any compensation, the amount now has been whittled down somewhat by this ruling. So initially they've been talking about payouts in total of about £40 billion, which was an unbelievable amount of money. And you're now talking still huge, the lower end of £10 billion. So who exactly will be entitled to claim?
Well, the Financial Conduct Authority, they began investigating discretionary commission arrangements. They started looking at this in May 2017, and it's in their annual report. And they cited concerns about the quality of the finance market on cars. And they banned DCAs, they're known as discretionary commission arrangements. They banned DCAs in January 2021 because roughly about half of hire purchase and PCP agreements between April 2007 and January 2021 had DCAs, and nobody knew about this. And the dealers could adjust the interest rate offered to customers, and the higher the interest rate, the higher the commission paid to dealers. And nobody was aware of this financial incentive. And the FCA ruled there was a conflict of interest and it was unfair. And they banned it in January 2021. And there was loads of cases going through the courts. And the Financial Ombudsman Service were interpreting cases and upholding them as well. So this has been going on for quite some time. And the FCA began investing DCAs in January 2024. And they put it on hold pending the outcome of the Supreme Court. And now what they're going to do is they're looking at a mass redress scheme to compensate those that were captured by the DCAs between April 2007 and January 2021, and certain non-discretionary commission arrangements like the Mr. Johnson case. So we've just got to wait and see how this unveils, because it could be subject to a legal challenge, because the financial lenders they're citing concerns about it going so far back to April 2007, because the regulation didn't start until 2014.
Because these are huge amounts of money. And actually, and from what I know about it, if they were going to be paying out these excessive fees, and if they were anywhere close to that 40 billion, the effect that would have on the industry, for the consumer, that wouldn't actually be good news, because those costs would be passed on. So the price of cars potentially would go up. And I do wonder, would that still be the case?
I think it will still be the case, Holly, because regardless of how much we're talking about, whether it's 9 billion, 18 billion, the money's got to come from somewhere. And the banks, for all, they're going to set aside a pot to compensate consumers under this redress scheme when it's rolled out and agreed and things like that. Ultimately, the money's going to come from the consumer.
And for those who may be eligible for compensation, we're not talking massive amounts of money that you could end up with. I mean, we're talking in the hundreds now.
Yeah, what's being mooted is around about £950 per claim, although it may vary depending on specific circumstances for each consumer. But if you've already lodged a complaint with your lender, that's all you have to do. You don't need to do anything else. But if you haven't already submitted a complaint, now's the time to do so, and avoid claims management companies or legal firms, as they can charge up to 30% of the fees. And the FCA scheme aims to be free and simple. And because these finance agreements, they go back, we're talking back to 2007, it's going to be very hard for people to actually get hold of the records.
Yeah.
The finance companies are saying the same. But what you can do is be your own detective and look on your credit files. So you can go on to Experian or Equifax and look historically at all your finance agreements and get the details from that. And maybe you can remember your car registration, or you've got old photos of your car. You've just got to try and gather as much evidence as possible so you can help the lender find the records.
So it feels like you need to do a little bit of detective work if you haven't got access to the paperwork right now. But as you say, you can go on and check with credit agencies and Experian, things like that. And this FCA scheme, should you take action now or wait for that to kick in?
All you have to do is submit a complaint if you haven't already done so, and just wait for the FCA to unveil the scheme, because what the regulator aims to do is make it easy and accessible with no need for the courts or legal action for most people. So once your claim is in the pot, your complaint is being submitted, that's all you have to do. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to use a claims management company, because you can just do it yourself. Just contact your lender. Was there a discretionary commission arrangement in place on my finance agreement, and what was the interest rate? And if it's confirmed that there was a discretionary commission arrangement in place, just tell them you want to submit a complaint, and that's all you need to do. And if you're not sure about anything, look on the Financial Ombudsman Service website and the FCA website, because there will be guidelines on there as well.
Great advice. Scott Dixon, lovely to chat to you as always. Thank you for your insight on this. And look, if you do have any further questions and you think that this might affect you, let us know. Send us an email. It's cfb@bbc.co.uk.